Well, welcome to the Dream Labs. I am Dr. Contrast Live, and I hope everybody's doing well. Thought we'd just give this thing a run today here. I just want to, just before I begin, I really apologize for the missed session last Wednesday. Had a business appointment we had to take care of. We got that out of the way, so hopefully we're in good shape today. And I think after we did last week's program, a little bit more of an path like Formula One studies and some sketch rendering work, we pull back here today and just do a nice simple series of sketches, to show you the anatomy of how things come together with media. So I put together a series of little thumbnail sketches here, kind of describe it and take it a little further down the line here as the program unfolds. What you see here, for example, is just what I refer to as like form studies. I put together a video program, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, a 90-minute video presentation on just power drawing and then the creativity side of sketch rendering. And in that video, I put together a program on it was the magic of line weight. And this really gets down to line weight, where you actually use the side of the pencil to create a form, and without getting too specific with it, just nice and easy to kind of gentling shape and using the side of the pencil to create shape and form. Once you get the form down, then begin to switch over to go to a position where you sharpen it up and crisp it up a little bit. I'll show how that operates in just a moment here. But it was a very interesting set of circumstances. I use this often in developing shape or geometry for certain sketches. It's really been an interesting set of circumstances to deal with. Again, it's very quick. It's very electrifying. It's very internal. And I think what you're looking at here, when you develop a form, basically speaking, you're bringing that form from inside the paper up to the surface, and that the softer you get with it, the more gentle you are with it, the more you can begin to arrange the shapes and modify as you go. So let me just get rid of this guy. These are just really quick little, they're not quite empathy sketches. They're more like form shape studies, where you actually take the side of the pencil and just drop it in and lean it all the full weight of the lead. Instead of having up on the point, for example, here, you're down on the side of the lead and just developing the side of the pencil shape. So we'll show you here in a moment how that operates. Let me get rid of this guy, and we'll just start a little fresh shape here so you can see what we've got here. And put that out of the way. There we are. And now, when you go into this, I'll try to hold this sheet parallel to the screen so you can see what's operating. I'm going to lay the pencil down and come back in and just begin to develop a form here, just very lightly, and then come back through the axis. And just develop a shape. And then when you come back in, just a little bit of touch, just a little bit of tone to it here. So there's one. It's just a nice, simple empathy. You can put line weight change or weight changes in this thing just to kind of give it a little more zip. That's it. So you can come back into here. Another way to look at it. Again, just very simple little shapes, right? It's just developing form, getting inside that guy. There it is. Now, there it is. That's what you can just use the side of pencil just to create a little bit of form. Let me just turn it aside, just a little bit of shape in here. There it is. There we go. Just a couple of little thumbnail sketches here in terms of how you begin to develop that just on the side of the pencil. Now, the nice thing about the whole idea of developing a form like this, when you go from the form side of life, then you move into a position which is going from that hand gesture into this hand gesture. And you begin to tighten this thing down a little bit by doing the following here. Let's just go back and look at this guy for a second. Let's pick up some line weights on this thing. Let's see if I can keep this on the screen without moving it too much here. Tighten things down. Putting line weight into place here. off switch. A little bit of detail in the back here. There's a little thumbnail sketch right there. There you are. So how about that? Just start with form and you begin to tighten it up a little bit, and just as you go here, it's this interesting little series of steps. Nothing here today. I just want to get back to basics and develop some very simple basic shapes in terms of putting all these things together. Let's go back into this guy. Sharp lines. Where the light source is coming from. And back into this guy. And there you are. That's how it all started. Just from one simple little shot like that, and all of a sudden you've got two little thumbnail sketches that are really interesting in terms of just a form, back to position. Coming back in, and let's just let those guys go. Just a little study here for what it's worth. Side of pencil. And really quickly. Those guys. There we are. And the cool thing about this, how quickly those sketches come together. It doesn't take an awful lot of effort in terms of just once you get that form down and begin to just really generate the shape itself, you can begin to light source to tone this thing in and do some interesting things with it. So, yeah, I just thought I'd start, pardon me, today in today's stream with a nice little simple setup in terms of doing what a form study looks like, just sketches, just looking shapes, and then putting the discipline together with some media. So that's one guy. We get that out of the way. Let's put that over here. Put that over there. And another page we looked at here. Let me get this out of the way too as well. Pardon me, folks. Get this out. Another way to look at these is going into ballpoint pen. But there's a series of little thumbnail studies here with the ballpoint pen. Just looking at how we can kind of generate the same shapes with that, but changing the media from ballpoint pen. A little bit of marker work. Pardon me, we get that all put together. Again, very simple, but I want you to notice here, even in this example, let's go back and look at this just for a second here. In these examples that you'll see here, these sketch rendering studies, let's see if I can put them a little bit side by side. Look at the amount of paper being utilized in these sketches, for example. A little bit of media, a little bit of drawing, and a lot of paper coming through. Let the shape of the studies breathe a little bit. So I really want to emphasize that throughout this whole program today, in that it doesn't take, you have to fill it all in. Keep it a little bit mysterious in terms of what you're going to generate here. But again, a good formula, I've done this in the past in some of my streams, for sketch rendering or just thumbnail sketch processing, for example, to me would be a very simple effort in terms of the formula might look like something like this. It might be 25% sketch, 25% media, and 50% paper. Let the paper breathe a little bit, open it up a little bit. So let's kind of open this thing up just a touch here, and we'll go back in and just generate some shapes here. Nice and easy. Center line. It's a basic sketch. There it is. It's elevation study here. And then next thing you know, you just start to put a little bit of media together here. And then I picked up some pretty interesting ballpoint pen work here. Just got to put a little bit of structure in this thing. Pardon me as I move the paper around here. Pardon me. And a little bit of tone here. A little bit of marker to this thing. See what we've got. Come on there. Back in a little bit of lighter tone here. Put a little bit of fill in this thing. And maybe it's a little bit of color added here. It's going to get this thing all put together here for us here. That's that. Come back in again. A little more drawing definition. Hey, Antares, how are you, man? Good to have you on board. How's everything? Doing pretty good? Just doing some really quick little empathic studies and form shapes and all. Did you pick up the first part of the stream or you just come in? So let me know and I'll go back and review a little bit for you here. Let's go back and I'm just finishing up a little bit of media stuff here, changing the tone of certain things. Just putting quick little thumbnail sketches together on media and just sketches and concept work here. Let me go back to these guys. I started the stream by doing this, Antares, to bring up the speed. We started here with what I refer to as just a series of form studies. And it's interesting how just using the side of the pencil, let me put this aside for a moment, using the side of the pencil to develop shape very softly, you kind of bring it out of the paper, keeping it nice and easy. Hey, it just came in, very cool. I'll give you a quick review here, Antares. Thanks for joining us. So I went from that, these really quick little empathic sketches in terms of, they're not really quite empathic, they're more form-based. And what I mean by that is a very soft, gentle approach to get inside the paper, bring the surface to the object to the surface, but don't really put a lot of effort into it. Just get the form down and develop the shape. It's very soft and gentle. So that was the first sketch, a series of sketches I did. Then I took that same approach and went into something like this, where I took that second form and did the same thing by taking the next. Notice how really soft these sketches are, as opposed to when you go back in and begin to put some content to it in terms of just interesting how it just you begin to fire up with line weight changes. This is side of pencil. This is more point and combination of both. And let me back up here for a moment. I'll see if I can kind of sneak one in here and show you how this all operates. Let me go back. I'll go back to that a little bit later. So there we go. That's a combination of just how to develop a very simple form-based sketch first, and then go back in and really develop the whole idea here. So let me just kind of, I'll see if I can sneak one in this page here. If I can sneak a little thumbnail sketch in here. We go back to the axis, get the axis down, come back in and finish up the shape. Draw that through, draw that through. Now there it is in very simple form. Very elevation, just very easy, side of pencil. Now you come back in and just add a bit of tone to it. Come back in now, sharpen it up. Back the side of pencil, back to underneath. And there it is. There she be. Hey, hello. Hi, Ryan. How you doing? Good to see you. Everything okay? I hope you just joined in as well. So hopefully you had a chance to pick up some of these little studies I did here. And again, if you came in a little bit late here, Ryan, just a real quick review here. Started here with, didn't start there. Sorry about that. Started here in the stream, just sketches in terms of what I refer to as developing a form. And that development of form, as I get that, let me borrow this just for a moment here, is to put that pencil down on its side and just begin to use the side of the pencil to develop shape. And what's neat about that is, let me just use a sketch to show you how that operates. You can go back in and begin to change weights. Change weights. Come back in again. Change weights. Change weights. And just put a lot of pressure in here just to kind of develop that side of pencil, just to get the shape to read. Now once you have that going, now you can come back in and pick up some of the detail work. Closest to me, a lot of weight. As it goes away, fade. Again, insert piece. Real darkest darks next to lightest lights. And that's that part. Now I come back in. Excuse me if I rotate over here just a bit. Hey. I've had the flu. Oh man. Oh, hope you're doing better. Thanks for joining in. I hope you're okay, Antares. Thank you. Sketch back in again. And the line weight change. hot spot, shape, bring that form right through. And there you are. That's how you put that together. Pardon me, folks. All of a sudden, I got the voice problem again here. But what do you think? Boy. So sorry. There you go. So how's that look? What do you think, Ryan? And Van Terrace is making sense. Hopefully. Again, starts with a very simple, soft shape. Then you switch gears from that side of pencil into the point of the pencil, which is now positioning the viewer. And the movement, I think I might do a program based on that. In the near future, because I put together a DVD some time ago about the whole process of creating the line weight and the magic of line, and I'll begin some functions. So it's neat. Yeah. So here's the first pass, like a soft underdrawing. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a soft underdrawing, and you begin to, once you get that shape down, you go back in and put the power to it, and begin to develop what is looking like these studies right here. Now you can really take advantage of look at the combination, very soft against very sharp. Puts a lot of definition back into the shape, so not a whole lot of effort. So that's the whole idea here. What do you think, Ryan? Are you on the same page here? Any questions at all? Glad to have a chance of joining us today. Thank you. I'll just hang on a minute here for any feedback. So I started with a little bit of pencil work first. I mean, the idea of getting these themes to come together for us and present some interesting little shape studies in order to place the idea of going in from just join. Will this method most effective for communicating design? And yeah, very much so. Yeah, that's the intent, Ryan. It's a very quick technique in terms of putting together a very soft shell to begin with, then go back in and define what you want to sell to the client, for example, or the actual shapes itself. So that's a great commentary. So thank you very much. Very quick, effective method. Not a lot of time spent in developing the shape. And if you missed what I said earlier, one of the things that's important about this whole stream today, again, I keep reemphasizing every time I go through these little thumbnail sketches like this, there's a formula advancing here. Notice, it's 25% drawing, 25% media, and 50% paper. Look how much paper is moving in. And I'm just emphasizing the things I want to emphasize without getting a lot of quickly overdone or busy, fussy sketches in terms of. So that's where I started with Prismacolor pencil. Form studies first, and we're doing the same process, actually the same sketch rendering setups with just doing things like getting together with just a marker and a little bit of ballpoint pen. One of the things that's got a little touchy about working with marker with ballpoint pen is when you start to add marker to it, it kind of blurs up a little bit, but if you move quickly enough, it'll take care of itself. So that's another approach, for example, developing these guys, where you actually take ballpoint pen and we're going to just maneuver through some very interesting things here. So let's kind of take a shape here and just kind of work through some things. Let's come back in here, just a little thumbnail sketch. I'll show you how that operates as well. Again, real quick little empathy study here. How to put together a shape, a surface on top of this guy. Take the marker, run it through. Just a real simple little, it's real quickly, real empathic shot right through this guy. There it is. I'll come back, a little bit of halo in here. I want to show that as far as concept goes. That's great. Come back in here, add a little bit of detail in this thing, a little bit of depth, a little bit more depth in here. Let it go with that. And then just a nice little color accent. What I can see other way, you come back in. Get the wrong side here. And before you know it, you've got some pretty neat little stuff going on here. So, a little texture change. and a little bit of fluting. And there you go. There she is. Just interesting how just joined with this method being most. Yeah, there you go. What do you think, gang? I'm gonna move along here pretty nicely, but those are nice little package of thumbnail sketches to show you how this whole thing begins to operate and how it begins to function. So I hope that helps. That's a bit of an intro here, and I'm gonna get these guys put aside and clean up my mess here just a little bit. But I think that's the fun part about this whole process is learning how to really be extremely quick, very efficient, and extremely productive. You know, you can, like you said, Brian, your comments are well stated here. This method is really great for generating quick ideas, whether it's elevations or perspective studies. But again, the key thing to remember in this whole stream today is the following. Number one, it requires, 25% sketch, 25% media, 50% paper. Let the paper do the work for you. Just really scrape right through it. So don't worry about filling it all in. I love using the Winsor & Newton liner. Alcohol markers don't make that. Yeah, hey, that's a good idea. I use the same thing. Alcohol markers. I've got some, but I just thought I'd use a Copic here today on ballpoint pen. If you control it right, yeah, it won't bleed, but you've got to be very quick with it. But I think you're correct. I do have Winsor & Newton markers, and they're pretty nice. Alcohol free. It's really great. So let me move along here very quickly here, gang. Let's get through this stack of sketches here. Before I do, let me do this. So once we have that down here, I just put together a nice series of little thumbnail sketches based on where we were and what we're looking at here as far as process is concerned. And what I think I'll do here is just take advantage of, pardon me, as we shut this thing off. I forgot to do that. Right, there it is. The silence is beauty. Thank you. There you go. There it is. So I put together a series of little thumbnail sketches here, and I'm just going to move along the line and just same set of circumstances when we go down the plane here. The line drawing is already there, but I just want to go back in and show you how to begin to use this stuff from the point of view. Let me get a smaller pad, a bit more efficient with this thing. I think we go this route. There we are. Let's do this. Get this thing organized. We're on our way here. So just nice little pencil sketches. Now I kind of copied them first. They don't smear on us quite a bit here. So I'm going to go back in here and just kind of look at, let's get some just basic form down here first. Let's do this. I'll try to keep this on the pad here. I'm sorry. Number 3 gray, and just got to tint in a little bit right here. Hope this is working okay. Yeah, I got it. Now I can come back in and define this guy a little bit here. Let's get number 4 gray. Just got to knock this in just a bit more. A little bit of tone there. And just a little bit of this. aside for a moment. And a little bit of final definition. And there you go, a little thumbnail study here. There you go, gang. So I put some quick little definition back here. Just a touch more. Let's see if I keep this on the pad here. I'm sorry. Here we go. It's got to go back in here. Just get a little bit more marker work done here. Let's go back and get this guy to kind of come through for us here. Down, get that number 4 somewhere here. There it is. And again, phase 2, just little thumbnail sketches here. What are some of the things you do to keep sketching fun and exciting? I do a lot of just freewheeling like shape studies like this, Ryan. Quite a bit of time spent on just exploring shape, whether it's empathic form or sketches such as this. Just keeping it pretty alive and very, very versatile as much as I possibly can. Does this thing have a specific function in mind, or is it more of a form study with product? Yeah, it's more of a form study with product language involved in it, really, in Terrace. It's more of a study in terms of just putting shape together and developing shape and form and keeping that formula alive at 25, 25, 50 to make it work. So, and then Ryan, your comment, what are some things you do to keep? I think for me, it's this kind of format. Even if it's automotive product or interior space, I'll do a lot of thumbnail sketches just to keep, and I change media quite a bit. For example, pencil, marker, tone paper, pastel, watercolor. I change quite a bit all the time, so I'll be doing some extremes in time to come here with those elements in place. So it's been interesting how it all comes together here. So let me move along here, and we'll get some additional stuff done here. Hope this is helping, guys. Good to have you on board. A little bit of study here, a little bit of color insert. It's real simple. I'm going to keep this on the paper as best I can here so you can see what's going on. There it is, that's that. Just again, very simple. Let's get a little bit of tone change up on top here. Let's get this up here. And a nice little simple light tone here. There's a little bit of definition work in this. No, just real quick little thumbnail sketches like so. Hopefully this is making sense. Hopefully, gang. So far, so good. Neat. Okay, I'm just going to go back in here and just crank about maybe one or two more here. Let's put a little bit of this tone in here. Try to keep this on the pad here. I'm sorry. Define this guy a little bit more. this is on the page here. Sorry about that. Your background, more automotive or product design based? My background is more automotive, Ryan. I came in from General Motors design staff for 12, 15 years. I have a career there where I was the director of North American operations for 12, 15 years. Had Corvette, Cadillac, and a variety of studios. I spent 2 years overseas at Opel in Europe working with Ferrari and Maserati and a lot of the individual people here. But during my education at the Center for Creative Studies in Detroit, it was more of a wide open. We were trained in everything from architecture, interior space, exterior, product design, branding, etc. It was a very wide open series. But I went on to General Motors design staff, had a great career there and really enjoyed it, but after a while it just got to the place where I wanted to go back and explore something different, so I did, and here I am. Hope that answers your question for you. Super. All right, there we go. I'll come back and finish this guy up here just a bit. And by the way, too, Brian, I've done a lot of product work for a variety of clients in my company here in Columbus, so still very active in a lot of different areas. Do a lot of interior space work as well, concept branding work for a lot of our clients around the area. Let me just kind of put this tie together here. There is another little thumbnail sketch. Just nice to open this form studies, looking at certain things, kind of develop shape and so on. Keeping things pretty active and try to keep it as loose as we possibly can. So again, let's move along here just for a second. We have some time here to move these guys through. Let's get the next one here. See what we've got here. We're just going to pull some pieces together here. And let me sharpen this stick a little bit. Any questions so far, guys? Are we doing okay? I hope this is helping. Again, just a real quick series of reversing the gears, just product design sketches to kind of look at what we're after as far as very simple elevations and things to deal with. Looking at that whole idea of that formulation thing we talked about earlier, get the idea of it's 25, 25, 50. Makes a huge difference. That's your background. Right? Okay, got it. Thanks very much. Let's move along here. Chair's upside down. Pardon me here, guys. A little bit of thrust in this thing. Got it? And just a touch more here. And we're going to get this guy resolved. A little elevation here. It's really cool. Yeah, they have a tremendous program. They really do, Brian. They have a great program that's gotten stronger over the years. When I was involved in it, we had a great instructor. My drawing instructor for all 5 years at the CCS was Sid Mead. I don't know if you've heard of Sid Mead, but he was my drawing and rendering instructor for all 5 years. And we became great friends over the years. Stayed in touch with Sid for a long time. He's involved with a lot of great film work, as you well know. For example, 2001: Space Odyssey, all the Star Wars series, and all the illustration work for Star Trek, etc. That's all his design work, and it's just an amazing individual to learn from. And the guy was just one great talent. So I've been very fortunate, and I'm really looking forward to keeping that surface alive in terms of what he did. What he taught us was just immeasurable. The guy was just an absolute genius all the way through. So let me go back in here, and I hope that answers your question there, Ryan. Thanks very much. A little bit of highlight in there. So let that run across the top, hopefully. Turn this thing over just a bit. A little bit of the shape to read over the top. Inside again. A little bit of tone there. And just a little bit of a change of pace here. We're going to number 1. Keep this nice and light and informal. Pardon me, I have to rotate this just a bit. You better thrust on this thing. A bit of drawing definition on top of this guy now. We should be home. It's reading all right. Back on, yeah, there we go. There we go, another little thumbnail sketch. It's nice and easy. Keep the sketch active, very useful device. Yeah, let's just keep it active. And again, open it up, let the paper work through it, and to take it from there. Let's go back in again here. Just some nice little simple little form studies here. Keep it nice and basic. Turn this upside down for a moment here. A bit of drawing definition in this guy first here. I'm going to switch gears and use this pen so it doesn't run on me. And sharpen this guy a little bit here. This is on page here. Oh, so that's up there. There you go. Got it. And there you go. Another little thumbnail sketch. Just interesting how, just interesting set of circumstances. So, what do you think? Ryan's is helping at all, or any questions at all? So far, so good. I'm just trying to keep it real rapid, quick, and very empathic in a sense, and very emotional. And using that little form we talked about earlier, the whole idea of getting into this whole process of being really accustomed to that formula of 25, 25, 50 really makes a huge difference. So let's just go right down the line here with the last little study, and we'll go for like this. We'll just put this guy together here. Nice and simple. Fill in the color blend here. Right back to a nice simple tone. Carry this on through. A touch of this. bring this into speed here. Let me get this guy tuned in. And there you go. This little family of sketches there. Could you touch on how holding your marker changes? Could you touch on how holding your marker? Yeah, I mean, it really makes a huge difference. I'll touch on that here. Talking about the actual manipulation of the shape and the actual form itself at Ryan. I love the approach to design sketching. Yeah, it really is interesting how it just all. He's talking about just, let me get a fresh sheet of paper here. Put that off to one side. If you're talking about the actual fundamentals, for example, I'll use a marker like a wet pencil. That's all it is, just a wet pencil. So when I go through this whole process, what I'm looking at is when I put a lot of thrust down here, notice how the weight changes. I can come in here and just put a lot of, and I'm going to move out of it and back to the point. Notice how I move my hands all the time. I'm getting a lot of that down. So if I do a developed shape, for example, let's just put a little thumbnail sketch together here. If I get into a shape like this, I'm going to come right back in, solidly put it in, then back to the point, switch. Back again to the point, back to the fat side, and now back to mark. There it is there. Now back in again. Maybe there's a little element back here you want to change pace on. Maybe it's more spherical. Back to the broad side of the pen, up and over. Back in again into the line weight studies here. Then when you go to a little darker marker, same process. Where was it for? There it is. Now you want to put the shadow into this thing. Come back in, broad, sharp, broad, sharp, etc. How we're doing that, how that rhythm changes, fantastic. Helping. So when you're doing a lot of wash, for example, let's say you have a very large surface like this, you have a lot of wash in it. Start from the back and go from dark to light. Come back in here and begin. Use a broad tip by doing the following. This, as you come forward, release it. Back to sketch. Animate it. Change gears again. Back to. Now, the nice thing about that is you start to fill in, go back in again, second pass, broad, darker, reflection. All of a sudden, there you go. Interesting? Helping? That was a great question, right? I'm going to do it. That's interesting you brought that up because it's interesting. I did this one today, and I was thinking about next week getting the fundamentals of how to begin to manipulate a marker to treat it like a pencil. That's all this is. That's just a wet pencil. That's all this guy ever is. And again, that was one of the great process lessons of Sid Mead. He was phenomenal at this stuff. He looked at that stuff. He'd make marker look like watercolor. It was absolutely incredible. So let me just stop right there today, gang. I really want to thank you for your time and effort. I'm going to get rid of some of my junk paper here. And I hope this has been of some effort and help to you. Let me go back and review real quickly here. Get this stuff out of the way. What we've done here is very, very interesting. You come back in. Let's get rid of this stuff out of the way. I started here. Went from this set of sketches. Just kind of line them up as we go here. Started out with this kind of format where we actually went into the actual idea of forming a sketch, developing a form, keeping it light and airy, just on the side of the pencil. It was very soft. Then into a second series of sketches, taking that same thing, and now the second set of passes we did involved getting the form down and then adding that, what I call, to the counterpoint of that, which is point. Getting into form, position the viewer. What do you want them to see? Position means a hard line pencil. We'll go into that more and more as we go through some of the streams here, some of the later programs. It's a very interesting process. It's quick and it's rapid, as you said, Ryan. Extremely efficient. You as well, Interis. You still with us, Interis? Is this helping? I'll stop for a moment and wait for you guys to respond, hopefully. Good? Thank you so much for joining me today, too, guys. It's been very helpful. The feedback is always great. Questions coming up and then questions such as that are just terrific to deal with, so thank you. So we went through those pencil sketches first as a matter of getting form down, just being very soft and gentle with it. Perfect. I learned to draw in the traditional art style. Look at pencil like a brush. It's that's good. So let's get that guy down. We put that one in there. And then we switch gears and went from that into ballpoint pen. Same process, for example. Very animated, very lucid, very supple, very simple. Again, ballpoint pen sketch through, using a little bit of medium. And again, notice the formula. In most cases, it's 25% drawing, 25% media, and 50% paper. Sometimes you fill it all in, but there's still a lot of paper bleeding through there to kind of keep it transparent. So that was the next thing we did. Then the first set we did was a series of sketches like this, little thumbnail studies, just done side by side. You can make these guys work side by side, 1 to 2. And I think they can kind of fit in there, I'm not sure. Yeah, pretty close. So there you are. There's another family of forms, just putting together that whole idea, again, of changing the media just a little bit. But again, it gets into just generating simple things. I've only ever seen you discuss mark making in a non-traditional way. I've only ever seen you discuss mark making. Could you clarify that for a minute, just a little bit there, Ryan? You're talking about a non-traditional? Because I think this is a very non-traditional approach. We're taught then, really just not, I don't think efficient. Where Mead's approach was more of like a drawing, a marker as a sketch pencil, and then using it to fill in and then stain in certain areas. So if you don't mind, Ryan, would you clarify that question just for me, just for a moment here, and I can answer it correctly for you? That's a good question. Looking forward to your response, Ryan. Thank you. I'll just be patient here. Hang on. Hopefully we get a chance to chat with you here for a moment here. It's a lot of fun stuff. I mean, I've always switched gears. For example, your question earlier about having fun. I just change mediums quite a bit. I go from one side to the other. Oftentimes, I'll just, if it's marker, pencil, pastel, watercolor, a combination of both, tone paper studies, which I'll be doing later on throughout the course of the week here, or the series. Got a minute here, Ryan. Hopefully we get this question. I've only ever seen you discuss mark making in a non-traditional way. Are you referring to the use of how to implement a marker, how to utilize it from broad tip to point and so forth like a pencil? Because it is very non-traditional. That was Sid Mead's teaching ability to kind of get away from the fill it all in kind of approach. So again, if you don't mind, Ryan, if you can clarify that for me a little bit further, I'd really appreciate it, so I can make sure we answer the question for you correctly. Yeah, very untraditional. Thank you very much, Ryan. That's a great question. It is very non-traditional because we're taught to hold it like a brush, like you said earlier, or a marker, just fill it all in, stroke after stroke after stroke. Whereas a real ethereal approach and the most efficient approach is to let that pencil or that marker become a wet pencil in your hand. And then same to the side of the pencil, for example, even the quicker and empathy studies we did here. That's all side of the pencil generated. It's non-traditional. We don't see that. I put together a DVD drawing program so years ago, and it was about the power of the magic of line. In line weight, for example, there were 3 categories. There was form, position, and texture. I'm going to go back into that maybe later on and show you. That's how this all came about. And again, I'll be very candid with you. That all came about from the value and the impressive genius of Sid Mead. That guy was absolutely phenomenal. He showed you different ways to develop things so quickly and efficiently. And I think it's one of the greatest descriptions he made was, again, look at this page here. when you develop on the side of the pencil like this, we actually lay that pencil down and just develop it on the side of the pencil. He called that form. Then you describe that form by stating the following. Form, by definition, as the form is in the paper. You just bring it to the surface softly. Then you begin to develop it by using position, which has been switching gears from that mode to that point to sharpen things up. We'll get into that later on. So thanks for clarifying that, Ryan. Hope you enjoyed it today. That's it for me, guys. I don't want to hold you back and bore you to death here with more traditional stuff, but so much fun today, and I hope you have a chance to take a look at my website at drcontrast.com. Let's put these sketches up here so we can kind of finish it up with the whole program. Yeah, right there, some of that study. drcontrast.com, and again, please, Ryan or Terrace, if you have any things you want me to work on, drop me an email at jim@drcontrast.com. I'll be happy to help you as best I can. We'll put some pieces together. And thanks again, Ryan and Terrace, for joining me today. And again, drop me a note, jim@drcontrast.com. And please visit my website to take a look at some of the work we're doing. I'm on Instagram there. YouTube is there, obviously, in some other areas as well. Yeah, the DVD is still available for purchase, but I've got to dig it out of file. It's been quite some time ago, Terrace, but I'll dig it out for you and let you know what we've got. It was really a 90-minute presentation on all kinds of different things, so hopefully it'll be of some help to you. Just basic sketch rendering stuff. But if I dig it out, I'll make sure we have a couple reproduced, and if there's interest out there for me to reissue it, I'll be happy to do it. I had a lot of success with it. A lot of corporations bought it and purchased it for creative training, and so it was really neat to see it all come together. Again, closing, guys, thank you so much for the time today. Just amazing. Well, thank you, Ryan. I mean, the great questions, terrific stuff. I hope you join us every week, and tell your friends we're live, too. I'd love to have your gang. You're out there in Oklahoma, correct? I'd like to have your teammates or your gang kind of join us to have some fun on this stuff on Wednesday. So, and Terrace, to you, always a treasure and a great treat to have you guys on board. You don't know how much I appreciate. Yeah, me too, Ryan. That was great. You hit it right on the head. Very non-traditional, but extremely powerful, because it takes you away from the norm. Thank you, guys. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you next week, next Wednesday. We'll tune in, and again, for you, Ryan, let your gang know we're available, and thank you for the time today, guys. And I always close my streams with this very simple thought, but I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Never forget to dare to remember to dare to be great, because you are. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in a week. Take care.